love a tech deck.
The fact that you specifically are
Pro
into tech decks is mystifying.
Amanda had a crush on a Grom at EP Ball and she wouldn't admit it. And then he broke his arm. And then she abandoned him. What would you honestly do if I left the podcast to become a professional fingerboarder?
I'd let you go. Bye. It's been fun.
So this lucrative
deal. Do I even exist?
Yes.
We're ignoring you.
Sits up from the casket. I hate
it! But then, and we will likely never truly know what or why, something in him snapped.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Fucking know it!
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Took a rip of my oney right when you started the intro.
Oops. I moved my chair up for John.
Classic.
Oh.
And
John.
My microphone was not
John.
adjusted. Yeah, is this better, John?
Yeah, John.
Okay.
We love John. It probably is better. Thank you, John.
It probably is a lot better. Okay, I'm Kenyon.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
And we have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by Kayla. Kayla has selected the topic of skateboarding crimes.
Ugh.
Amanda's not feeling it.
I hate it. Got me on my knees, Kayla.
That's because I swooped in and selected the fan pick case right away.
And there's like nothing good out there, nothing else juicy that exists basically except this case, because like the only other prolific crime in skateboarding is like drugs and trespassing, and nobody cares about either of those things.
There's some sad like dead people found at skate parks.
Sure.
Yeah.
I went in a very unique direction.
Teratomas?
No, I kept it within the topic, but unlike some people have in the past.
I made a choice.
I took a more unimpressed approach to my segment this week than a standard wine and crime approach.
Okay.
So I'm going to get good and
Get
soft
off
stuff.
my lawn.
I am definitely going to NIMBY the shit out of this particular subculture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Trespassing. It's great.
Well, before we get to it, Kayla, our fan picker, wants to dedicate Skateboarding Crimes this episode to her boyfriend, Andy.
Oh, so it's his fault.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if one or both of them is a skateboarder or this was just totally at random.
I did get a kick out of all of the warnings that I read about not trying to learn how to skateboard over the age of like 25 and how dangerous it is if you're an adult, wanting to get into skateboarding. I was like, first of all, nothing to worry about here, internet.
Yeah.
Clearly you are not using the algorithm to figure out what I'm trying to find.
It's like when people are super confident that they can just all of a sudden do a backflip.
Yeah. It's like you need to learn that when your bones are still rubber.
Malleable.
Or just like practice it. I don't know how you practice a backflip, but just like, I understand how it works.
It's like on The Office.
I'm just gonna do it.
When Creed's New Year's resolution is to do one perfect, glorious cartwheel. And then he quote unquote does it, nails it on the first try. That would be me skateboarding.
That's how my cartwheels are.
Always.
I can't do a cartwheel. They're always a round off. Muscle memory. I can't do like landing one foot and then the other. It's always just boom, sticking it.
I'm sorry, I want to back up. You can do a round off?
Yeah.
Ish.
It's not perfect.
Prove it. Get up and fucking prove it right now.
Do it in your office right now.
Right the fuck now.
No room. Although
how convenient. How convenient.
I woke up this morning and saw our group text about grapevine versus karaoke.
Yeah, ew, what the fuck is
Explain for the listeners.
It's the move that you do while Courtney Blortney prefaced it during gym class, but you can do whatever. It's like a dance move.
It's a dance move.
You cross one foot over the other, like in front of and then behind, and then you swiggle sideways.
Yeah, swiggle.
Yeah. And some people apparently call it karaokeing.
Ridiculous.
The
It's
karaoke.
grapevine. It's grapevining always.
I know.
It doesn't make sense. So I saw that text when I woke up, and the first fucking thing I did this morning was leap out of bed, do that across my bedroom, and go, Corey, what do you call this? And he was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't ask questions. Just answer my question. What do you call this?
It's like still sleep bleary. Like, why are you?
What? 7:30 in the morning. He's got crust in his eyes.
Yeah. Where have I
taking off his CPAP?
Pretty much.
One drool blob still connected.
Well, what do you call this? I did it like 6 times.
What did he
wasn't
say?
Watching. He said, I forgot what that's called, but we did it in football practice.
Oh,
I had to prompt Kenny. I was like, is it called grapevine? And he goes, no. And I go, is it called karaoke? And he was like, yeah, that's what I called it. And I was like, God damn it.
No, Kenny,
absolutely not. Mm-mm.
That's disgusting.
Anyway.
All right, moving on.
That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. We're going to need some booze to wash away the memories.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I started pre-lubing, but I can pick it up.
Yeah.
I can pick it up where we left off. So our fan picker had requested a dirtbag beer, like some cheap, shitty
I got
beer.
Busch Light downstairs.
Kind of, yeah. I think one of the recommendations may have even been Busch Light specifically.
Shit. I got room temp, year-old cans of Busch Light in my pantry.
Oh, pull it out of like a tattered backpack and it's perfect.
Yeah, okay. So Kenyon has the recommended pairing. I straight up was like, oh, that's a cute recommendation. No. No.
I like my life too much.
Yep. Bye-bye. Although
I'm having such a good day.
Yeah, if it was, I don't know, Hard Mountain Dew, then maybe we could talk, but sorry, can't do it. But I did have a great beer in my fridge that I'm just going to go ahead and drink today. It is from a brewery called Warpigs.
Yeah.
I
Very badass.
Grape beer.
A great beer. Grapevine karaoke beer. I am drinking the Warpigs Nemesis Divina. And
I think that
this
is quite fitting.
I think so too. It's got the like really intense art that you can often see on the bottom of a skateboard.
The board.
It's
Graphic.
not like
The deck.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the deck.
the deck, the underside of the deck. This reads, Temptress of my dreams, fallen angel, come to me. We'll ascend the plane to eternity as friend and foe.
That actually fits the fan pick case exceedingly well. And we will get to it.
Great.
There you go. This is a dry hopped porter with aromas of rich, dark chocolate that intermingle with a little bit of a citrus and tropical hop balance. It's dry hopped, so you are going to get a little bit of that like bitterness. It's 54 IBU.
I haven't dry hopped in a long time.
Ages.
Love dry hopping.
Dry hopping was so fun.
So cool in 2004. I don't think I've dry hopped since like 2006, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe 2007.
Maybe,
That's
yeah.
about the last era of my dry hopping.
Yeah, because once you start wet hopping.
Real hot. Well, I was wet hopping before. I was wet hopping before, but I think I just was around. I like had roommates around all the time.
Once
It
wet
was
hopping
more-
is the norm.
Once you have your
Yeah.
own space, you can more freely wet hop when
Yeah.
you're kind of sharing space or have
Then
thin
it's hard
walls.
to stop at the dry hopping.
Correct.
And then you just kind of skip it altogether.
The dry hop no longer satisfies. Now I just don't have time. Can we just
No
get
hop.
to the point here?
Very, very rarely hippity hop.
I'm exhausted. Anyway,
I'm counting
this
down
is-
the minutes till I can take a nap.
Pretty much. This is medium-bodied. It's a medium-bodied porter. It has like a nice, rich malt character, which yields to a smooth, dry, chocolatey finish. And I think it's going to be delicious. So that's what I'm drinking today.
Great.
What are y'all drinking?
I'm drinking some of our rosé. Thanks, I love it.
Oh, it's so pretty.
The gal's rosé. It's so pretty, and I just felt like treating myself.
It's so cute, and it's finally summertime.
And it's hot out. I was just out with Sonia. She got sweaty in the stroller. We were walking.
Cute.
And so I wanted to have some rosé. So I'm going to pop it open with my iridescent wine key, which is the merch that we push the most often just because it's so handy.
We always have it. Mm-hmm. Well, while you're prepping your wine, I will crack this beer. Here we go.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Crack.
Nice crack.
That was a good.
Ooh, it almost has like a...
That sounded like a sound effect, even though I know it's not.
No, it was real. It almost has like a coffee, like the crema on a fresh shot of espresso. Mm-hmm. The foam of this almost looks like that. Mm.
Crema.
That's what they call it.
Dry hop crema.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's tasty. Oops, I dry hop crema'd. Ooh.
You're not supposed to crema when you're dry hopping.
Keep it in your pants with that crema. Oh, you did it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Nice pop. Cheers. Oh, yeah.
And I'm just really thirsty, so I just have ice water.
Get it. Well, we are also recording at like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
3:22. I can have this rosé.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. I have like a prescription to pick up after this. Well, yep. Yeah.
Don't ride your scooter.
Oh, I always ride my scooter when it's nice, and I always use it in the drive-thru at the pharmacy on my little scooter. They love it.
Hello, mental health me, please.
Hi. Yes, I am here for my Lexapro. How did you know?
I like that meme that's like, where in the world is my fucking serotonin?
Yeah. It's me.
Okay.
All right. Well, Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych for skateboarding crimes?
It's no fucking psych. Here. Ugh. No psych.
All right.
Yeah, deal with it. Okay.
Okay.
Skateboarding is a form of recreation and sport popular among youths, in which a person rides standing balanced on a small board mounted on wheels.
Wheels.
The first commercial skateboards appeared in 1959, but crude homemade versions of skateboards, often consisting of nothing more than old roller skate wheels attached to a board, were
all what's it called? The movie Back to the Future.
We'll get to Back to the Future. We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it. So they were first built around the turn of the 20th century. So they've been around for a minute. Some of them would have a crate attached to the front vertically to act as handlebars. So skateboards basically started out as scooters. And here's a quote from the Museum of Play. In the 1940s and 50s, crate scooters made popular sidewalk vehicles. Most of them were handmade. They were relatively inexpensive and simple for kids to construct themselves by using a milk crate or wooden fruit box and metal roller skate wheels attached to a wooden 2x4. Two before. As my geology professor always said.
Called it
Two befores.
That's annoying.
He had a huge nose that had like purple veins in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like a big old gin nose.
Yeah.
Ooh, gin blossoms.
Yeah, two befores. I liked him.
Two befores.
I liked him.
My God.
Eventually, kids started removing the crate handlebars and just riding the board with wheels, a la that skateboard scene in Back to the Future, when Marty's like running away from Biff and his goons, and
Great chase scene.
He grabs the kids' crate scooters and rips off the crate and then like skateboards away.
So good.
There's a picture of that scene on the drive, which will be on the blog. The toy industry, which was bolstered by the post-war economic boom, took notice of this fad in 1950s 1959, and Roller Derby, which is like the toy brand, released the first official skateboard. In the early 1960s, skateboard manufacturers such as Makaha, I Googled it. I'm not 100% sure that's how you say it, and I don't think I care.
Okay.
Also, Hobie, as in like the sailboat
Hobie cat
manufacturer.
Okay.
Attempted
Bill Hobie?
No. Attempted.
I'm gonna start calling him Hobie. He'll love it.
He will just love that. He will. He really will.
He'll hate it, but he'll never let on that he hates it.
Nope.
No,
he'll be too
way
nice
too
to
scared.
say anything about it.
50
He'll
years
suffer
from now,
silently.
at his funeral, you'll be talking about Hobie.
My dearest Hobie.
I always called him Hobie, and he loved it so much.
Sits up from the casket. I hate it!
It's our special thing.
It's always been our thing.
Shh, lie down, Hobie. Lie down.
I love pushing back down into the box.
It's just rigor mortis. Okay. I have this whole scene happening in my head.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so those two companies attempted to capitalize on the rising popularity of surfing by promoting skateboarding as a recreation, which was then known as sidewalk surfing, as an alternative to surfing when one did not have access to actual waves.
Aha.
Okay.
Skateboards took off mainly in Hawaii and California, where there was already an established surfer culture. Also a little bit on the East Coast, but definitely not like in the Midwest. Larry Stevenson, publisher of Surf Guide magazine, promoted it in his monthly issue. Boards were designed at the time to look like little surfboards. They were thinner on the fronts and on the backs.
Cute.
So they weren't necessarily their own recreation yet. It was just a offshoot of surfing.
Very intermingled still by the 80s in my case.
In 1963, Stevenson made the first professional skateboards using the Makaha brand and organized the first known skateboarding contest in California. So up until this point, the wheels had been made out of metal, which is real dangerous. In 1963, manufacturers started using clay composite wheels. This improvement didn't necessarily mean that the sport was safer, but it was like easier to maneuver, I guess. So you weren't dealing with like metal shavings and shit.
Okay, so the metal wheels were dangerous because they could like get cut up and jagged, or they could like pierce the skin if they like hit you wrong.
Yeah, but also just like riding on any kind of surface with just metal wheels. Sometimes they didn't even have like bearings in them. It just wasn't, you couldn't control it very well. So this improvement didn't necessarily mean that the sport was safer. A lot of people skated without shoes because, again, it's like kind of the surfer thing. And shoes at the time, I mean, think of like turn of the century shoes and like 50s shoes. You had like solid material soles. They didn't have like rubber soles yet, not like the good rubber soles. So skating barefoot was probably easier.
What did people have? Like Converse, if that?
Not yet. We'll get to it.
Oh.
So it was before like all that stuff.
Oh.
So people skating without shoes, and the official skateboarding competitions involved a portion of like slalom style downhill racing.
Oh my God. Okay.
Just seemed really not safe. By the end of 1965, the high number of hospitalizations due to skateboarding led to the sport being outlawed in several cities.
Amazing.
Parents were discouraged from buying skateboards, and stores were urged to stop selling them. So like the whole
Also,
industry
it's not like
kinda,
anybody had helmets.
not
They were
yet.
just out there, just raw dogging the sidewalk.
Yep. And the sidewalks themselves
Seriously.
probably weren't, half the time it was probably like fucking gravel. Just like
I remember being at a bowling alley, Eden Prairie Lanes. And
I know it well.
Yeah. And I was there with this kid. And I was there with a bunch of kids. This had to have been like 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. And we finished bowling early, and he wanted to skateboard and on the sidewalk.
And you were feeling it.
And well, I mean, I didn't like have a crush on him or anything, but I was like, fine, whatever. And he did, and he fell, and he fucking broke his arm, like to the point where bone was sticking out of his skin.
Who was it?
His name was Blob. I don't remember what his last name was.
Yes, Blob. Got it.
Blob.
You hung out with a lot of kids from different schools.
I did, but he did go to our school, as far as I remember. But anyway, we had to call like an ambulance because none of our parents were there, and we're like 13 and had like no idea what we were doing. Anyways, skateboarding's stupid. R.I.P. Blob. I'm sure he's fine. I don't know why it's an R.I.P. I think he's probably
R.I.P. He got a horrible infection in his bones.
You guys, he died. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that because I have no idea. He could very well be dead, and I would have no idea.
Well,
anyway,
maybe do a little light Facebooking. Good anecdote.
Please take the camera off me now.
He might be dead. I don't know.
I don't fucking
For good measure, R.I.P. Okay.
For all I know, he's extremely dead.
He's either resting or thriving in peace. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So for this and obviously many more reasons, skateboarding was basically seen as a public health hazard. But has that ever worked to discourage young people from doing something?
No, now it's going to take off like gangbusters.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why the kind of subculture started evolving around this time. Also, in the early 1970s, Vans created the skateboarding shoe, quote unquote. So this was the kind of shoe that I was referring to. It had a latex sole with like a waffle texture, making it sticky.
Mm-hmm. And they're like flat at the bottom, but like chunky and heavy, right?
I wouldn't say they're chunky and heavy. They're flat on the bottom. They have that waffle texture, so there's more of a grip to it. They also have a lower profile, so you get like a full range of ankle motion. Mm-hmm. They're just really...
But there's not like an arch.
Correct.
Right.
So it's perfect for riding a skateboard. Mm-hmm. Also, in the early 70s, Larry Stevenson added his patented kick tail to the end of his boards, so the lip that goes up on one or both ends of the board. Mm-hmm. So that made it easier to control and also to like do tricks with it.
And like flip it up and hold it and look cool, look badass.
Yeah, look like Bart Simpson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also the polyurethane wheel came onto the scene thanks to a guy named Frank Nasworthy. And this allowed for skateboards to actually turn without sliding.
Well.
So you can do a lot more with skateboards and they were safer. So these innovations breathed new life into skateboarding and completely revolutionized the industry. In 1976, the first skate park was built in Florida, complete with sloped and banked surfaces that were meant to resemble empty swimming pools, which is where a lot of these skaters were doing stuff. And then that skating, like dropping in and all that stuff, that's known as vertical skating.
Vert skating. We'll get to
skating. Excellent. And there's also like that. I think the opposite of that basically is like street skating, which I liken to parkour.
Yeah. Parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have the spread of skateboarding to Europe, specifically Munich. We have the invention of the ollie maneuver, which was like the first like trick. Also, videography and the popularity of skateboarding VHS.
What is an ollie? Sorry.
I don't know.
The little, like, bloop. It's just like a little, like, like a little hop.
I think so. It's like
a dry hop.
The dry hop, yeah. Don't ask me. I have no idea.
Okay.
Videography and the popularity of skateboarding VHS tapes. So those could be, like, instantly released onto a VHS. They could be passed around. This enthused the younger set, which directly affected the fashion of skateboarding and also just other cultural aspects.
Mm-hmm. Remember how you dated someone and he was really into setting music to snowboarding DVDs?
Oh, my God.
Me?
Yeah. Bleedy.
It wasn't even snowboarding. It was skiing.
That's worse.
I know. He made really great mixes, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that ever. Remember that pseudo relationship that was dragged out to like 3 years? It was really emotional on one person's side.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Also, the
It wasn't Lucy's side. Next.
Also, the advent of street skateboarding, which I said was like kind of the opposite of vert skating. We have the X Games and the rise of the professional skateboarder, blah, blah, blah. I got really bored, so that's what you get.
Great.
And to round us out, I have some skateboard slang for you from Surfer Today. And they are in alphabetical order. You're welcome.
Oh, my God.
We have ABD. Already been done.
Bored.
You're a total amateur.
Okay, I'm stealing that.
I know,
really
I like
dumb.
that one.
I like that one a lot.
Don't forget your brain bucket, your helmet.
Oh, okay.
No. Hate
that one I know from scooting.
Brain bucket.
Brain bucket. Gross.
I love it.
Well, we don't call it that, but like I've heard that.
I'm
into it.
Scooting community.
Yes. It's a robust community.
In the scooting subculture.
You'd be shocked.
Do you vert scoot?
No. But there is a huge like scooter. It's like Ragbri / whatever Harley Davidson is for motorcycles. Sturgis for scooters.
Whatever
and they do
Harley
it in Minneapolis.
Davidson is for motorcycles.
Guys, I'm high.
Remember when I went to Sturgis Falls in Cedar Falls every year, and all of my friends thought I was going to Sturgis in South Dakota?
I thought that until our mid to late 20s.
Until you brought me. Until I was physically in Iowa.
I
thought
just
that
assumed
we were going to Sturgis.
Yeah.
Where are the
I was like,
motorcycles?
this
I'm
is just
pretty
one
sure
of
I told
Lucy's
my
weird
mom
bits.
that the Fitzgeralds go to Sturgis every year, and I'm
For
going
no
to Sturgis
reason.
with them, and she did not even ask questions. She was like, have
okay.
fun.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they're like teen tap groups parading down this small town street
very
in Iowa.
confusing.
And I was like, what is that? Where are the motorcycles?
The only motorcycles there are the tiny motorcycles that giant people ride in parades.
Yeah.
Really did not figure it out until we were at the motherfucking parade.
Do I give off Sturgis vibes?
Yeah, your family. I would not. I didn't question it that you
It's
would
not
go
that
to
you give
Sturgis
off-
every year.
It's not that you give off like a motorcycle family vibe. It's
No,
that
it's just-
your family is
it's
so
weird.
odd that like of
It's like-
course
like
we wouldn't
quirky.
even. Yeah. I just thought it was a Fitzgerald bit.
Work. Yeah, like a bit.
Gerald bit.
Just one of your weird bits. You have so many bits in your family. And they're really hard to keep up with. And then when you throw in a different bit, it's a lot easier to just roll with it than to try and figure it out.
What's another bit?
Your
We're
Christmas
fairly
card.
Oh,
love
family Christmas, your
Survivor.
Christmas card. Yeah, I mean, Survivor.
We were
definitely
really
a
into
Fitzgerald
Survivor
bit.
for a while.
The cabin,
moose.
the cabin in Baudette is a Fitzgerald bit for sure.
Absolutely.
It's a real place. You've been there.
Road
It's also-
tripping to Alaska.
That happened
Road
once.
trips in general.
Yeah.
Just affected me for the rest of my life.
Listen,
It was formative for all of us.
vintage glassware, that's a Fitzgerald bit. Huge one.
Okay.
Lots of stuff around booze. Lots of
White
bits.
Russians, entire bit.
Driving Honda Accords.
I could kill a man for a White Russian right now. It sounds so good.
Yeah.
Yum. Let's wrap this up.
Okay, the rest of my slang.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have
Obits.
if you're doing a fakie that's riding your skateboard backwards.
How do you know what's forwards and what's backwards?
Unclear if you're moving backwards, but what's backwards? You're kind of side saddle the whole time. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
Yeah,
the
but I
front
feel
of
like
the
most
skateboard
people
the
are
same.
right-handed. So if you're going to the right, that's forwards.
If you're,
if you're
going,
going
to the right, like if you're standing facing to the right, forward.
I
Yeah.
hate this episode.
Or just
so
going
much.
towards your right hand, to the right.
Well, funny you
To
should
the right.
submit.
Keep up.
Funny you should submit that
Idiot.
theory because my next one is Goofy Foot, which is a skater who rides with their right foot forward as opposed to a regular footer.
So maybe I'm
Like
wrong
goof
and it's the
tubes.
opposite, but it's one of the ways.
It's one of the ways.
Keep up.
Don't be such a grom, Kenyon.
I'm an am. I'm sorry.
I'm an am.
A grom is a young skater kid.
I'm not even a grom.
No, you're an am. You're
You're a sub-grom. You're an am sub-grom.
Amanda had a crush on a grom at EP Ball, and she wouldn't admit it. And then he broke his arm. And then she abandoned him.
She called 911 when he did a fakie.
So much of that is accurate, except the crush. I really would own it if I remembered having one, and I had really bad taste. It's not like Blob would have even been like bringing down my track record. I had atrocious taste in men. So bad, you guys.
I'm
until
surprised
like
that
5 years ago.
I was going to say, only for like 20 years of your life.
Yeah. 30 years of my life. But yeah.
Your dry hop years.
For sure. I'm fine.
I'm surprised you could see a person skate on a skateboard and not get soaking wet over them.
Yeah. Totally your
and
type.
not need to drop everything and dry hop. I can't focus on bowling. I'm too horny.
I'm going to slide down this lane faster than the ball.
Leave my slug trail.
I'll beat the ball down this bowling lane.
I need new shoes.
These shoes are wet. They came wet.
They definitely came wet, though.
I came wet. These shoes came wet.
These shoes are wet.
Fucking ish.
God.
Okay, next we have mob, which is to have bad style. It's unclear what part of speech this is, so I don't know if you're totally mobbing or if you're such a mob or you
those
mob.
Clothes are really mob.
Clog on my knob.
Clog on my mob.
I'm wearing my mob clogs. I'm not a regular mob. I'm a cool mob.
Clogs are definitely mob.
Slob on my mob clog.
Okay.
Clog.
While I dry hob.
Next.
Slob on my mob clogs. Fucking ick.
These clogs are wet.
That is your sexuality, though. Slob on my mom clogs.
I love clogs.
I like mom clogs.
Mom clogs.
Clog. I need to get myself a pair of mom clogs.
Listen, once you start clogging,
like an insole clog.
So
once you go get some dance goes.
Yeah, they're expensive,
once you go
but they're
clog,
worth it.
you never go back.
I know.
You
It's
never
time.
go bog.
You never go back.
I need to get some mom clogs.
Not me now sending you clog pics. Sexy wet clog. Sexy wet
Yuck,
clogs.
AI. Are you AIing this?
No, but Google Image is giving me a lot to work
There's
with.
no one still listening to this shit.
I'm just gonna
This is a sexy wet clog podcast now.
Just gonna skip the rest. They're so dumb.
Okay.
Well, that's my segment.
Clog on my knob. Oh, these are cute. I have a pair like this. I'll send you.
Okay.
We should
send me
make
the link.
skater clogs.
She was a skater clog. She said, "See you later, clog."
She said, "See, sorry about your arm, blob."
Sorry about your arm, blob.
All right, people. He might not be dead. I don't know.
But he could be. We're covering our bases.
Oh my god! All right.
Okay, go to break. Go to break. I'm sending
We're
you
going
clogs,
break.
and they're really cute.
Okay.
Are we ready for my case?
Slamming on his guitar. Yes.
Slobbing on his mob clogs.
Slobbing up on his clogs.
Yeah. Mobbing on my clogs.
Oh, my headphones coming
Okay.
off.
This case is the fan pick case. Thank you, Kayla, for informing me about this. I had never heard of this. It is abso-fucking-lutely wild. Gets real dark, as
Great.
fan pick cases are wont to do.
Fucking
You
Kayla.
do that to us,
But let's
kids.
get into it. Okay. So Mark Anthony Rogowski was born on August 10th, 1966. We're almost birthday buddies, but thank God we're not.
Ermager.
He was born in Brooklyn, New York, but moved to Escondido, California at the age of 3 after his parents divorced, and he's really very much a California kid. Escondido is in San Diego County, which means whale's vagina. So think
Is that true? County means whale's vagina.
San Diego.
Sandy ego.
So like Southern California, beach scene, whatever. All of Southern California is one place to me in my brain.
Yeah.
But apparently this is different than LA.
Fish tacos.
San Diego and LA are very different places.
Like geographically,
Who
or
knew?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'm sending you guys so many cute clogs.
Okay. Very beachy, okay?
Okay.
Got it.
So in Escondido at that time, preteens kind of went one of two routes. So either skateboarding or surfing. And most of Mark's friends turned to surfing, but he went the skateboarding route. And he hung out in a lot of local skate parks and was kind of like picking it up at the age of 10, 11, 12. And then in 1978, as a 12-year-old, Rogowski was asked to join a skate team and
Mike Rogowski!
compete.
Yes.
We're cruising through it. I got a lot to cover. So just 2 years later, at age 14, Rogowski started to skateboard professionally, and he was a bit of a prodigy. Are you still sending clogs?
Yes, she is.
You have
What?
mischievous face.
What's a clog? This last one doesn't look like a clog.
These are all clogs.
Open
Pause.
toed. What makes it a clog?
It's the way that it's made. It's the heel. It's the materials.
I've heard of this
the
company, Lotta from Stockholm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my phone is blowing up. So many clogs.
So many clogs. So cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. So he's skateboarding professionally now. All right.
Okay.
He's 14. He's a bit of a prodigy. He won his first major contest, the Canadian Amateur Skateboarding Championships in 1982.
Such an am.
And he was featured on the cover of Thrasher magazine in 84 and Trans World Skateboarding in 85, which is not what it sounds like today.
No.
He would go on to receive endorsement deals from Gullwing Trucks and GNS, Gordon and Smith, which is a company. Gordon Ramsay Smith. A company that makes boards for both surfing and skateboarding. And today, yesterday when I wrote this, I learned that trucks are not actually trucks that you drive.
No.
They are the T-shaped part under the skateboard that the wheels are connected to, and there is a diagram on the drive.
Correct.
I think you just explained it pretty succinctly. I don't know that we need a diagram.
There aren't that many parts to a skateboard.
Let her have this. She loves a map.
I do love a map, and I didn't include any maps, so I had to include a diagram, one or the other.
And what is a diagram if not a map of an item?
Right?
Don't encourage her.
Okay. So Mark was also somewhat of a pioneer when it came to skateboarding endorsement deals. He was the first skateboarder to receive his own pro deck by Vision Sports, which is another fucking skateboarding company. And the deck is the wooden board that you stand on. Think Tech Deck.
Think Tech Deck. Tech decks are the dumbest fucking things.
Oh, we'll
love
get
them.
to it.
I saved mine. I still have my Tech Deck.
Wow, this explains so much.
It's so fun.
We'll get to it.
What do you do with it?
We'll get
Little
to
hops and spins and twirls and clicks.
Can we let me have my segment?
It's very ASMR. Okay. So this lucrative
Do
deal.
I even exist?
Yes, we're ignoring you. This lucrative deal kicked off a trend of other skateboarders like Mark Gonzalez and Tom Grholski making their own signature decks. My deck is cooler than your deck.
My deck's bigger than yours.
Okay.
At the height of his fame, Rogowski was being paid between $4,000 and $8,000 a month, mostly from endorsements.
Dang.
And he was also earning about $2 per skateboard sold by Vision Sports. And they sold about, per skateboard that were like his brand or whatever, with his likeness, I guess. And they sold about 7,000 of these a month in 1987. So his monthly royalties just from that deal came close to $14,000 per month in 87.
Wow.
So he's making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that's good cheddar.
So Rogowski was in league with famous skateboarders like Tony Hawk. Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Also Christian Hosoi, no idea. Lance Mountain, sounds like a porn star, and Steve Caballero. I think he's the patron. So I don't know any of these people, but Wikipedia knows them. So apparently there's someone. Mark was especially known for his skill at vert skateboarding. Vertical. So using ramps to move from horizontal tricks to vertical tricks, like in swimming pools. And this style got to start as pool riding and trespassing and the whole subculture, and made it cool in California and whatever. Okay. In the late 1980s, Rogowski's star continued to rise, and he went on tour with other famous pro skaters as part of the Swatch Impact Tour.
Wow. Swatches were so fucking big.
Swatches were huge.
There's still a Swatch store at the Mall of America.
They're back.
It's cute as shit.
There was a full Swatch store in like the fancy mall in Joburg.
I feel like I wish I could combine a smart. I want Swatch to make a smartwatch. Then I feel like I'd wear it. A Swatch.
Does Swatch make just the straps that you can like attach?
Yeah, but
to
the
it?
face is also cute on a Swatch.
I never liked a Swatch. It's not my aesthetic.
I'm not a watch gal or a Swatch gal.
But tech decks are.
Love a tech deck.
The fact that you specifically are
Pro tech
into
deck?
tech decks is mystifying.
It's shocking.
I had one and I could do some basic shit with it, and it was just really like satisfying. I love a fidget. I like
it's like a fidget spinner.
I'm a
but
fidgeter.
Horrible.
I had ADHD and didn't know it.
Tech decks remind me of Start Class and like Blessy Blunkermeyer.
Totally.
Yep. Okay. So he's also starting to gain mainstream fame, and he doesn't star, but he's in skateboarding, doing tricks and whatever, in the music video Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Because I'm free. That one.
We sang that to you the day that I went rock wall climbing with your Girl Scout class at REI. Do you remember that?
What?
No.
And that song was playing while you were struggling up the wall. And we all started singing it to you, and you started crying.
I cried? I don't remember that at all.
Your mom got mad at us.
Lock that out.
I can't with you people.
All right. Well, so the music video is painful to watch. I rewatched it yesterday. Oh my God. Rogowski was also a stunt double in the movie Gleaming the Cube, starring Christian Slater. Have you guys heard of it?
No, but Amanda is still sending clogs.
Enough with the clogs.
Oh my God.
Focus.
It's like 25 links.
I'm listening.
Oh, I like these.
Oh.
Right?
The last pair?
Torpendorfs.
They're all really cute because I'm really good at this. Tro and Torps are amazing. I have like 3 pairs of those.
Tro and Torps? Jesus. Okay. Are they slippery?
No.
Can I skateboard in them? Can I vert in them?
Can I skateboard in them? I'm getting you a skateboard for your birthday.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so Gleaming the Cube, the movie. All of our listeners who are like Gen X and older will know this movie. We were too young because it came out in 89, I think.
Hear that, Gen X? You're old. Hear that, my sister?
Glass houses. Glass houses.
I wonder if Ashley knows it. So, okay, the movie. This is the blurb about it. A California skateboarder, Christian Slater, who's like 15 in this movie. He is so young, and he's just exactly who he is through the rest of his career. He just is like down pat Christian Slater.
He set the stage real early.
A California skateboarder, Christian Slater, solves and avenges the death of his adopted Vietnamese brother.
Wow. Okay.
And
it's like Karate Kid, but skateboarding.
A lot of skateboarding. So the phrase gleaming the cube apparently means pushing yourself to outside of your limits. And apparently in the movie, Christian Slater skateboards under like a bunch of trucks, actual trucks, driving trucks.
He gleams his cube.
He gleams the cube. There's like a high-speed chase.
Sure.
Is the cube unique to each individual?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't know the origin. I was thinking Rubik's Cube, but that's probably not right.
Probably not. No.
To gleam. One.
Oh, so you're allowed to Google things, but I can't spend this entire time sending you all really, really nice, generous clog links.
I
see
nice
the imbalance
clogs.
here.
You're really clogging up the chat.
Yeah, the clogs are like $300. Some of us can't afford all these clogs.
I didn't say to get all of them. You could pick like a tight 5.
A tight 5. You can spend $900 on clogs.
God. Okay.
Right.
What does it mean, gleaming the cube? What is it?
It just says it originated with the movie, and it doesn't really give any other insight.
So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to watch it. Okay. So throughout the 1980s, Mark Rogowski is riding really high. He's talented, famous, rich, young. But then things start to slide downhill bit by bit. First, vert skating became less and less popular in favor of street skating because, like, I guess not.
Probably more accessible to just
not everyone has access to
skate on the street.
Also, that was with
an empty pool.
It was with the rise of the VHS tapes because vert
People were
skating
doing
isn't
more, like,
really
videos.
It's not that interesting. So all the videography and that's all street skating.
Yeah, I'm sure vert skating is like super fun for the person doing it, but in terms of like watching
it, not that exciting.
Right. Second, Vision Sports, the company that supported him for most of his career and that he had that board deal with, filed for bankruptcy. And this actually had a really big negative impact on Mark's popularity because he was so linked to this one particular company. And then when it went bankrupt, like the shine came off him a little bit. So in a bizarre attempt to reinvent himself, Mark Rogowski changed his name to Gator Mark Anthony.
Okay.
Saying that Rogowski, quote, was the name of the father he never knew. So he dropped his, like...
All right, that's fair.
Fine. I'm still gonna... He's got a lot of names in this, so I will refer to him as
Gator.
Mark and Gator and Rogowski throughout.
Oh, Mike Rogowski.
Yeah.
Gator Rogowski.
Gator. Jesus Christ.
I can't with Gator.
So then, on a trip to West Germany, Gator fell out of a window and landed on a fucking fence.
Can you imagine seeing an alligator fall out of a window and land on a fence? That would be shocking.
They're supposed to be good at twisting.
Oh, like cats?
Maybe.
He was allegedly partying and was high at the time and had convinced himself that he could fly and actually jumped out of said window.
Convince yourself you can do a backflip.
Yeah. One perfect cartwheel.
So then when he landed on the fence, he impaled his neck, hand, and thumb.
And lived?
Hand and thumb? Like palm and thumb?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He impaled his neck?
Yep. On a fence.
What? No, that's some omen
shit. German fence. Probably very spiky.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Yeah. It caused serious fucking injuries.
Yeah.
So
you fenced yourself in the neck.
He could have died.
No offense, but you're an idiot.
Maybe he should have died.
But you fenced your neck.
He probably should have died. Okay.
Ugh.
He immediately returned to Southern California to recover. I don't know if he was, I don't think he was medevaced to Southern California, but he
checked himself into a wellness resort.
Yeah, he called an ambulance to the EP Mall. He made it back. Okay.
Blob is fine. R.I.P.
Probably, maybe.
Who knows?
Unconfirmed.
So when Rogowski returns home, he befriends Augie Constantino, who is an ex-surfer turned strict evangelical born-again Christian.
Tell me you're impressionable without telling me you're impressionable.
Just wait. So I looked up Augie Constantino. He is still around. He has an Instagram. He is a virulently racist, anti-Semitic, anti-vax
cool
piece of shit. Still surfing.
Great.
Got
it. Just goes to show you that there can be like essentially
in every
Nazi
industry.
surfers.
Oh yeah.
Like Christian Nazi surfers. Yeah. Okay. So that's this guy. Okay?
Okay.
And Rogowski is vulnerable because, like, he had this rising star. He had everything, and now everything's kind of going wrong for him. And now he can't do, like, the one thing that he loves in his sport. And he's physically injured and just recovering and just kind of hanging around in Southern California. Yeah. So this friendship would prove to be profoundly influential to Rogowski. Whether or not Constantino is to blame for what Gator would become is still up for debate. But from this
Probably didn't help.
But from this point on, Rogowski would never be the same.
Cool. You mean your Nazi friend wasn't a great influence on you?
So I don't know if at the time...
Yeah, he might have
gotten
extremist.
I mean, he was like extremely evangelical, born-again Christian at this time. I don't know if he had all the racism at the time, but he certainly has it now.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, yeah. So similarly to Mark, Constantino was a kind of an ex-surfer who, after a night of heavy drinking in Hawaii, had gotten into a serious car crash. He was playing a game of fucking chicken.
Cool.
In a vehicle,
drunk in Hawaii, and crashed and was like super injured.
Great.
So he'd suffered major injuries to his legs in the wreck, but he survived, and he attributed his survival to God.
Of course.
And saw the accident as a sign to devote his life to Christ.
The reality was you were drunk and it let you be limp and floppy, which is like why so many drunk drivers
survive and their victims don't.
Because they're relaxed and they're not really tense right at the point of impact. And so that's why you lived, dude, because you were hammered enough to not clench your body and make yourself vulnerable to more injury. That's it. That's all it was, bud.
It wasn't Christ. And Christ certainly didn't want you to become a fucking racist anti-Semite, but whatever.
Yeah. Probs not.
Yeah, his Christianity doesn't help a lot of people, and we're about to get to it. So Rogowski had actually met Constantino before he went on that trip to West Germany, but they were only kind of acquaintances before that. And then when he gets back and he's doing physical rehabilitation, they're spending a lot more time together, like a ton of time together. So Constantino was actively trying to convert Mark to become born again. He would talk to him a lot about God being our one true father, and like intentionally used a lot of paternalistic language.
Daddy issues.
1,000%.
Fucking manipulative piece of shit.
He used all of that kind of daddy imagery that he knew appealed to Rogowski because Rogowski had been, quote unquote, abandoned by his father at a young age. I mean, his parents divorced, but yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, talk to me when you've never met your father.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Let's out-trauma each other. Trauma.
Oh my God, I didn't even tell you. I got a second chance to do that. Organically.
In a pool?
Last weekend. Not in a pool.
Boo.
In a garden.
Peeking over a wall.
Drama.
Through the bushes.
Drama.
Drama.
It was amazing. Oh my God. Okay. So you might think that this 180 from like rock star alt hero skateboarder to evangelical zealot would be really surprising to Mark's friends and loved ones. But actually, people weren't shocked by Rogowski's newfound obsession with religion.
Great. That's a good sign.
Perry Gladstone, who was the owner of a skateboarding shop called Fish Lips.
Ooh.
Nope. I'm good. Thanks. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Baby fish mouth.
Yeah.
No, baby fish mouth. I just watched that recently.
Zach and I say baby fish mouth to each other probably daily.
I love that.
So good.
Oh my God.
Baby fish.
So this is this guy that
But
knew
baby
him
fish
at the
mouth
time.
is sweeping the nation.
Quote, yeah, he was a fanatic, but that's just it. He was fanatic about everything.
Okay.
So
So that makes it fine.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So one of the biggest areas of Mark's life that was impacted by his new religious zeal was his romantic relationship.
Uh-oh.
Great.
Rogowski had met Brandy McLean when he was just 21, and she was also really young. I think she was slightly younger than him, but like late teens, early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
They came from different backgrounds. Brandy was actually from an affluent family on the East Coast, but she'd gotten connected to the skateboarding world and with her close friend, Jessica Bergston. A lot more on Jessica later. They'd attended this skate tour in Arizona that Mark was competing at. Okay, so that's how they meet.
Okay.
Also, like, Brandy and Jessica are both like young, beautiful, very like California, like that aesthetic, you know, girls.
Sure.
Brandy and Mark hit it off right away, or very early in their courtship. She would like fly from New York to LA to visit him all the time, and she had the money to do that. But they get serious in their relationship very early on, and she moves out there full time, and they move in together. They were big partiers, as we probably know from the fence incident.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of drinking and drugs, mostly weed, also lots of cocaine, and lots of sex because they're like, 22 and in love.
And on amphetamines.
Yeah, and doing a lot of cocaine. But even with their hectic lifestyle for years, they were inseparable. And like Brandy was even like briefly alongside Mark in the Free Fallin' video. She's one of the like hype girls on the vert ramp.
God.
It's painful to watch. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Tom Petty just like pops up in it all the time.
Jump scare.
It's like you're looking at these like beautiful like 20-year-old like tan California kids, and then just like Tom Petty, just like
He's always been
Jesus.
70.
No.
yeah, he looks exactly the same now. It's really jarring, and just every 20 seconds, Tom Petty. Okay.
Yikes.
So, they move in together. Eventually, though, quote, Gator bought a ranch in the mountains near Tony Hawk's new ranch, which he'd equipped with a whole series of wooden skating ramps. But Brandy became bored with the ranch because, like, I don't think she skateboards, and she wants to, like, party and be in San Diego and not, like, in the middle of nowhere.
And like watching your boyfriend play video games is not that fucking fun.
There aren't even video games back then, so just watching your boyfriend skate.
That's what
all
I'm saying.
the time.
It's the equivalent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we get back to the city? Thank you. So the cracks are beginning to form already. But when Rogowski went through his faith conversion, Brandy was decidedly not into it.
Not here for it.
No. At one point, he tried to persuade her to come with him to Cavalry. I can never say that.
Cavalry.
Calvary or cavalry?
Calvary Church, where Augie Constantino worked, but she wasn't interested. So, like, Mark's trying to, like, convert her, and she's like,
Nah.
dude, fucking, what the fuck is this?
It's okay. I'm good.
Imagine dating someone who then becomes a born-again Christian while you're dating.
Ugh. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather not imagine that. Thanks for playing, though.
So then Mark tells...
no.
Hobie.
No, Hobie.
So then Mark tells her that they should stop having sex because they're not married.
Oh. Okay.
And her reaction is everything. Quote, "We literally had sex 5 times a day. We were so in love. Then he met Augie and started saying, we can't have sex anymore unless we get married." And I'm like, wait a minute. We've been going out for 4 years.
Yeah. Why now?
Having mad sex for 4 years. And we can't have sex anymore? I can't deal with this. Later.
Bye-bye. Good for her.
Later, skater. Gator.
Fucking no.
Later,
gator, skater.
Later, gator, skater. Yeah, she's out.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So in 1991, they break up, and that should be the end of the story, but of fucking course.
It never is.
It's not, because fucking patriarchy. So post-breakup, Brandy starts dating someone that she is surfing with, and Gator can't fucking handle it. He loses his damn mind. Not that he hasn't already, clearly, but...
Sure.
So he starts to leave threatening messages on Brandy's mother's answering machine.
Okay.
Because I think she moved out, so now I think she's like sort of living at home, and there aren't cell phones.
Yeah.
Whatever. Quote, "He was calling me up, leaving all these freaky messages. He'd growl. 'You bitch, you cunt, you're gonna fry in hell from your toes.' Weird shit like that."
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Rogowski breaks into Brandy's house, ostensibly to take back all the things that he'd given her during their relationship.
Yikes.
Which he
Very
didn't.
Christ-like.
Yeah, totally. That's what Jesus would want. He did take all those things, but I think it was also like a power move to like show that he could get into her space.
Definitely, yeah.
You know? At one point, trying to diffuse the situation, Brandy agrees to let Rogowski take her out to dinner in an effort to, quote, make amends. So she's like, dude, like, you've been acting crazy, whatever. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, let me, like, show you I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And she agrees because, like, they were inseparable. They were in love. They dated for 4 years.
She trusted him. She's like, you're just going through something weird. We're going to figure this out.
Right.
Is kind of
she
probably
wanted
where
to still
her
be
head's
friends, or at least not, like, enemies.
Right.
Yeah, she wanted him to just not be insane.
That is way too much to ask of a man, though.
Yeah.
That's on her.
So they start fighting pretty much the moment he picks her up to go to this make amends dinner. And he's yelling at her, and Brandy remembers thinking, quote, his voice got all deep, and, you know, he sounded like the devil. He says, you know what? I should take you out to the desert right now. I should drive you out right in the middle of the night and beat the shit out of you and leave you there. And I would get away with it because everybody would know that you deserved it.
Oh, God, that's gross.
End quote.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't think they went to dinner.
Not great.
Probably
she got the fuck out of there. She is now justifiably terrified.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? This is like way too fucking heavy for me. Like, I gotta get out of here. And he has a lot more power than she does because, like, he has money and fame and, like, connections in the skateboarding world. And she moved out there to be with him. And now he's gone completely off his rocker and is threatening her. And she's like, fuck this. So she takes off back to New York to be
anywhere
feel
else.
safe and, like, be around what she knows. But she leaves California in such a rush, and she's so upset that she didn't tell that many people that she was going or why she was going. Because it's not like there's social media back then. She would have had to, like, individually call people's landlines to be like, my ex has gone insane. I'm going to New York today. Like, you wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
You just go. And that's what she did. So one person who didn't know about any of the threats, knew about the breakup, but not the threats.
Sure. Yeah.
Was Brandy's best friend, aspiring model Jessica Bergston.
Why didn't she tell her best friend?
Well, she probably was going to when she got back to New York and got situated.
Oh, right. Was Jessica in New York?
Jessica was in Arizona.
Okay.
So Jessica, I'll get to it in this next sentence. So remember that Jessica had known Mark Rogowski for as long as Brandy had known him. They'd met all at the same time at that skate competition 4 years ago. Or even more, almost 5 years ago at this point. And Jessica had been living in Tucson. She has no idea that her friend is essentially hiding from Mark at this point. All she knows is that, like, they broke up. But
yeah, they're not doing well.
Yeah, but it's, you know, whatever. Like, you can still be friends with your friend's ex if there's not, like, all this extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
So when Jessica moves to San Diego for work, kind of on a whim, because she's modeling, so she, like, gets a gig, basically, and decides to move to San Diego. She can't get a hold of Brandy, so she calls up Mark to hang out, because he's, like, the only other person she knows that lives there. And Jessica had absolutely no idea what she was walking into. Because how could she?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So Rogowski would later say that everything he hated about Brandy, he also saw in Jessica.
Oh, good. So he hates the girlfriend and the best friend.
Oh, no.
He hates women is what it is.
He hates women. Yeah.
Women.
Tight.
So they were both tall, blonde, hot blonde.
Oh, my God. I recently re-listened to that episode, and she holds up.
Yeah. What number was it?
It's Catfishing Crimes.
Yeah.
It's really early.
Yeah.
It's like within the first 20-something episodes.
Yeah, so good.
God, that's so long ago.
You know, she's free-spirited. She's like 22 years old and a model and, you know, whatever. Too free-spirited for Jesus, apparently. So she has no fucking clue. She just calls up Mark because he's like the one person she knows there. They decide to meet up and go to an Italian restaurant for lunch. They have a normal lunch. Then they rent some movies and get some wine, and they head back to his apartment to hang out.
Getting a little cozy with your best friend's ex-man, but okay. We're going to let it go because she's a victim.
So up until this point, Mark had acted completely normal.
Could have been totally his idea, too. And she's like, I don't know. I don't have any other friends here.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can see how contextually that would be fine.
Just a hangout, you know?
Just Scandival is really leaving me very fragile. Vulnerable these days. So I can't trust it.
Well, it's about to get horrific.
Great.
So here we go.
Do with that what you will.
So he'd been acting completely normal at this lunch. Offered to, like, continue the hang. Earlier that day, he'd shot a TV commercial, so, like, his career is turning back around. Everything seems to be on the up. But then, and we will likely never truly know what or why, something in him snapped. Rogowski, all of a sudden, they're back at his apartment. He tells Jessica he needs to go grab something from his car and he'll be right back. He leaves. She's just sitting there chilling, watching this movie rental, Gleaming the Cube, probably on VHS.
Ick.
It sounds sexual. I don't like it.
I know.
I hate it.
It sounds like jerking off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Polishing your
knob, gleaming your cube.
Glob on my knob.
Yeah. Anyway. So he's like, I need to go grab something from my car. She's like, okay. Comes right back. When he gets back to the apartment, he sneaks up behind her.
No.
And hits her repeatedly in the head with a steering wheel lock.
What?
Out of nowhere.
What?
She's literally sitting on the couch or chair or whatever, and he just comes up and whacks her on the back of the head, bashes her head in with this metal, heavy steering wheel.
Be a crowbar.
Yeah,
that he probably had in his car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he went out to his car.
Yeah.
left something in his car.
But my point is
my murder
that
weapon.
It was not necessarily like premeditated because it was like a crime of opportunity because it was just something he essentially had lying around.
I don't know. He lured her back to his apartment and then went and got the weapon and then came back. So that's premeditation. It doesn't have to be planned for weeks to be premeditation.
Well, maybe it's premeditated, but it's still like crime of opportunity-ish.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. So stunned, because like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was just watching Gleam my knob.
Yeah.
Quietly, like a normal person.
Still conscious, Jessica is then handcuffed and carried into Rogowski's bedroom.
The fuck?
He then cuts off her clothing, like with scissors. What? And rapes her repeatedly for 2 to 3 hours. All
the fuck?
While screaming Bible verses at her about like modesty.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Okay, guy.
If that's not a metaphor for patriarchal religion anyway, I don't know what is.
Jesus
oh my God, that's
Christ.
so fucking gross.
It's horrific.
I can't even fathom what this poor girl went through. Like, out of fucking nowhere.
Kayla, what's wrong with you?
Yuck.
I mean, imagine. Like, imagine if, like, Blick, well, I ended up hating Blick in the end, but, like, imagine if that didn't happen and Blick, like, invited me to hang out after you broke up and I was like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden he'd, like,
bludgeoned you with a steering wheel lock.
Like, what the fuck?
That's also only like, 6 months after they broke up? Not even?
Yeah.
It's not like it was 20 years ago.
No.
They still, like, knew each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. No.
They'd hung out. They were skater friends. She didn't know about any of this fucking shit.
That's horrendous.
Again, she's still conscious. She's bleeding profusely, but still conscious while all this is happening.
Right. Yeah.
And she's begging her former friend to stop, but he is on some shit.
Yeah.
Not there.
He proceeds to stuff her screaming inside his surfboard bag.
No.
Ew.
Dude,
like a body
what the
bag.
Where she suffocates to death.
No.
Oh, because I bet it's like waterproof.
Ugh.
It's so fucking horrific. This
oh
poor
my
girl.
God.
Yikes. Ugh.
Oh, that's so
No.
fucking gross.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, it's like really getting to me. So, then, much like he'd threatened to do to Brandy, Rogowski loaded the surfboard bag into his car and drove Jessica's body out to a desolate place, which is Shell Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And he buried her in a shallow grave and then drove back to the city and stopped to pick up a carpet steamer on the way because she'd been bleeding all over his apartment.
Oh.
Ew. Jesus. Ugh. No.
So after not hearing from his 22-year-old daughter for several days right after she moved to San Diego, Jessica's father, Steven Bergson, is really fucking worried. And he flies from Tucson to San Diego and begins searching for her as a missing person. So it's great that he like did not waste any time. He was like, this is
something's off.
Something ain't right. And I got to get out there and figure out what the fuck's going on. So unsatisfied with the work that the San Diego police were doing, he starts plastering the town with posters looking for his daughter. And then Bergson even met with Rogowski, since he knew that he was one of the few people Jessica knew out there.
Right.
And Mark just plays dumb and tells him he doesn't know where she went.
Of fucking course he did. Prick.
So police, too, eventually come to question Mark, probably because the father is like, well, this is the one person she knew out there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no obvious evidence in his house to be found because he's fucking carpet steamed everything and they don't have a warrant to like test with luminol yet. And they don't have enough to like do a proper search.
Yeah, to go there.
So several weeks, possibly even like months, I don't know, unclear, go by, and a poster of Jessica is up at the 7-Eleven where Rogowski and Constantino are always hanging out.
Okay. So haunting them. Good. As it should be.
Well,
Like that one guy.
what are you saying?
That one guy. The guy the Grim Sleeper.
Oh, sure.
Oh, the
I remember
billboard
things.
in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sure. So they're hanging out at this 7-Eleven. There's a poster of Jessica on the wall. Constantino is in the dark about all of this.
Okay.
Unclear that he even knew that Mark knew Jessica. I don't think he even knew that. So one day they saw some random women go into the 7-Eleven and they were dressed in what they felt was revealing clothing.
Oh, ick.
Jesus Christ. And so
fucking psychos.
Constantino essentially heckles this stranger woman and tells her to change her clothes and then come back to, quote, talk about Christ.
No, I'm good. Bye. I just really want my ding-dangs and to be left the fuck alone.
Yep. So
I really want
unsurprisingly, she tells him to go kick rocks and says, quote, I have nothing to worry about.
I'm good.
Worry about yourself, you freak.
Mind your fucking business, you cocksucker.
Yeah.
God.
But then Augie, who again, in the dark, doesn't know what Mark has done, points to the poster with Jessica on it.
No, he does not.
And says, quote, she had nothing to worry about, but where is she now? She could have been involved in drugs, pornography. Maybe she's dead.
And he doesn't know.
Total coincidence.
Oh my God.
He just is trying to like
scare this
I'm sorry,
mansplain.
Ghosts are real. Like, ghosts are real. This was, she is reaching out from beyond the grave in this moment. Fuck.
So the coincidence shocks the shit out of Rogowski.
Yeah, who probably went white as a sheet and almost puked, I bet. I fucking would.
And he later tearfully confesses the murder to Constantino a few days later.
Oh, you're sad.
Oh my God.
You're sad about what you did.
I didn't mean to brutally kill my friend.
It scared me what you said. It made me feel bad.
Yeah, bummer. Bye.
But Jesus
Fuck
will
you.
forgive me, right?
Oh my God. That is
Thing
so
is,
fucking creepy.
No. He won't forgive you.
I love it.
So Constantino, ever the believer in Christian confession and the power of forgiveness, convinces Mark, again, he has like some crazy sway over Mark.
He's his dad.
Hey. Yeah.
To go to the police and tell them everything without a lawyer.
I mean,
which is like the one good thing that this Constantino person
that
has
this
ever
man's
done.
ever done. Yeah, that's literally where I was going with that. It's like, okay, you did one decent thing.
It's the only redeeming thing. Like, you created this monster, but at least you convinced this monster to give himself
You helped
up.
take him out. Yeah.
So Constantino told him that the only lawyer he needed was God.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, Esquire.
I love Jesus Christ, Esquire. I want that.
Investigators were absolutely floored when Mark shows up out of the blue and confesses in detail to the whole thing.
Oh my God. Excellent.
Can you imagine?
No.
I can't imagine any of this shit.
This is great. Isn't this story insane?
Yeah.
I can't believe any of this happened.
I know. It's all so random.
Ugh.
So Jessica's body had been found almost a month earlier, but it was so decomposed that they were not able to identify her. So they had the body, but they didn't know it was Jessica. They didn't know it was related to this case, and they're still looking for her as a missing person. And all of a sudden, he's like, yeah, well, I handcuffed her, and I raped her, and I took her out to the desert, and I buried her. Oops.
Was she buried in the bag?
No,
I think
because I feel like they would have connected the surfboard bag.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I don't know that for sure, but that is my assumption.
I would assume so too, because a surfer bag you'd think would be pretty
connected.
Maybe not easily traceable, but somewhat traceable.
Right? Like somewhat custom or like something.
He's a professional skateboarder. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
So as part of his confession, Rogowski took police to the burial site and uncovered more evidence for them. So he must have like dumped her clothes or something else out there as well. Possibly the murder weapon. I don't know. Or his bloody clothes. I don't know what else he showed them, but so it proved without a doubt that he did murder her.
Yeah.
Because he knew where she'd been buried and found all this other evidence. So it's not a false confession. Despite initially confessing without a lawyer, because the only lawyer he needed was God.
Yeah.
God's a shitty lawyer.
Jesus Christ, Esquire.
Rogowski was eventually given one, and the defense...
I waited all Tuesday for my lawyer.
All Tuesday for my lawyer to come, and he never came.
He had something else to do. Can you believe it?
He's setting up for Willy Walleye Day.
Oh my God. What if that's why Jesus has never returned? Until we end Willy Walleye Day, we might never know.
Required. It's a big event.
Set up every year.
There's blockades at both ends of the street. There is one street.
Oh my God.
So he is eventually given a lawyer, and the fucking lawyer is revolting and tried to attack Jessica's character, telling a reporter that the victim was, quote, a slut.
Wow.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Jesus.
Cool.
And then tried listing, but without actually naming, all the men that she'd allegedly slept with in college.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
What?
As if that had any relevance. It's like the most crystallized victim blaming, slut shaming
bullshit
of all time.
This whole thing is just the patriarchy embodied in the most acute, violent abuse of a single woman.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is...
it's essentially an honor killing, kind of. And her crime was just being young and pretty.
And alone in a city where she knew one fucking person.
Right.
Oh my God.
So the defense also tried to argue that Jessica's decomposed remains couldn't show signs of rape, and so that charge should be dropped, even though Mark had literally already confessed to it.
He said he fucking did it. Also, this is not funny at all, but it just reminded me what you're saying right now about the dropped rape charge. It reminded me of the ongoing, well, recently, as of yesterday, completed Trump trial. And I was informed that when it came down to it, the reason that the full-blown rape charge could not be confirmed was because the victim could not confirm whether the mushroom of Trump, the Trump shroom, made it inside of her or not because of how insignificantly sized it is.
How do you know this?
I was sent information in the form of many tweets from the court correspondence, the court record.
So many things to say about that, to unpack there. Number one, doesn't need to be penetrative to be raped. Doesn't need to be penetrated by a penis to be rape.
Correct.
A digit, a finger.
And digital penetration was confirmed. And I think that's why the sexual assault charge battery, still applied.
Right. But technically, according to the law, that is still rape.
Oh, it's fucking absolutely still rape.
Yep.
I just hope that along with the no consequences that man is going to get, and size does not matter, but it matters to him. And I am hoping for humiliation so profound that he simply explodes, like spontaneously.
Here's
combusts.
the thing: psychopathic narcissists cannot feel humiliation.
Well, then I do feel a lot better.
Angry,
yeah,
but they cannot feel shame.
He's not gonna recede.
A lot better about spilling that entire gallon of paint in the Ace Hardware parking lot the other day, then, because that confirms I am not a psychopathic narcissist.
Because you were deeply ashamed.
A lot of shame and embarrassment.
No, you're not. You're not.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
Directing traffic around your wet paint.
You guys were so bad. We're so fucking humiliating. Anyway, I just, thought that felt adjacent.
Or how about Trump trying to say repeatedly that E. Jean Carroll, quote, wasn't his type, and then he misidentified her in a photograph
as his wife?
Yeah.
He says that about every victim,
Which also psychopathic narcissists aren't the best at identifying faces.
Well, she's just another woman.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Anyway.
Good God.
Okay, so the defense also tried to call Augie Constantino Mark's, quote, religious minister. And said that in that role, Constantino had no right to tell Mark to turn himself in because it wasn't like a crime in progress.
No. This isn't confession. Don't try and fucking play that angle. You're not a Catholic priest. And even if you were, don't they still have
if someone's dead,
some kind of like duty to report?
Yes. It depends. They can't be held liable.
Like forced to testify or whatever.
If they know that you had killed someone previously, they're not required and they can't be liable for it. But if you say, I'm going to kill someone this weekend, that's a different story.
Like if someone is ongoing missing, that's ongoing.
Yeah,
that's a crime in progress.
And
2, Constantino's not an official fucking minister. And 3,
and 2, this doesn't apply.
Doesn't apply because he just convinced Mark
to go confess himself.
It's not like he turned him in.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
It's fucking stupid. I fucking hate his lawyer. Okay.
Also, I want to be heretofore referred to as your religious ministers, ladies. And I'm actually fucking ordained. So like it does apply.
Right. Yeah. So none of this worked. Thank Christ, unironically. Christ Esquire.
Thank Christ Esquire.
Rogowski ended up pleading guilty to rape and murder to avoid the death penalty or no chance of parole. So he basically gets life in prison with a chance of parole for pleading guilty to both. Because he fucking did both and he confessed to both.
Yeah.
Jessica's father, Stephen, threatened Rogowski in the open courtroom, yelling that he was, quote, a coward and should, quote, die 1,000 deaths. So they had to like give Rogowski like special security in the courtroom.
That's not really a threat.
I don't think so either. He murdered this man's 22-year-old daughter.
Yeah. He didn't say, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And
let him have his emotional outbursts, for fuck's sake.
I know, it's fucking stupid. We just have to protect fucking rapists, murderers.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1992, Gator was sentenced to 31 years with the possibility of parole starting in 2010.
That's not long enough.
Parole was denied in 2011 and 2016. It was approved in 2019, but was reversed in 2020 by California Governor Gavin Newsom, who said that he needed a, quote, deeper understanding of his crimes. And then he got parole again in 2022, but it was again reversed by Newsom because this is a high-profile case, and Gavin Newsom is like, I'm not fucking the one that's going to let Gator out.
It's not on my watch. Yeah. I'm not releasing that Gator on my terms.
Absolutely not.
I can't blame Newsom for not wanting to take that political risk.
I wouldn't let this guy out, and I didn't have time because my case was already super long, but I didn't have time to include some of the quotes from this fucking asshat in prison, but he has not fucking learned his lesson. He like says things to make it sound like he's remorseful, but then the tone and the way that he's saying it, it's like, you are a fucking narcissist, paternalistic,
loser,
patriarchal fucking weirdo. Absolutely not.
Bye-bye.
Hate it.
Bye. And Brandy is living her best life. She's married. She's got kids. Good. You know, she has moved on from all of this, except that her fucking best friend was murdered for no reason.
That's the thing. I have to imagine Brandy's survivor's guilt, knowing that like it easily could have been her. She's the one who was in the.
She was the real psychological target of his crime. He couldn't get to her because she had got the fuck out of Dodge to save herself because she recognized the situation. Yep. But he was murdering Jessica to murder Brandy.
Yep.
I don't
Poor
like this.
Jessica.
Let's move on. This was one of the grossest cases we've ever covered.
Of all times.
Well, we're about to get to something far grosser. So let's take a quick break and then come back. Yes.
They're so good.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Are we ready for my section?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
let's just go. Let's just.
You guys, no shade. It's no shade to our fan picker. I hate this topic so much. Okay. And like I said, the cases other than the fan picker case were so lackluster. So instead, I'm going to take this opportunity to complain for approximately 20 minutes about the fucking dumbest trend in history. Tech deck fingerboards, which we have shockingly learned Kenyon is obsessed with.
I can't believe you just knew where that was.
It was handy. It was where I keep all of our middle school notes.
I think
craftsmanship. This thing has survived for a long time. They don't make shit like this anymore.
I mean, they currently make exactly those, so that's fun. I think where I agree with you on like the fidget portion of it and the miniature portion of it, like that hits a dopamine receptor for my ADHD brain.
Right.
But where I lose it, for you, it's ASMR. For me, it is like the sound of that fucking thing is sensory overload. It is nails on a chalkboard. It is so annoying.
So you don't like it.
I hate it.
I just can't believe for how few like muscle physical skills you have that doing tech deck flips is among your talents.
Well, I'm very excited for you to show us some of your stuff
right now.
I'm gonna do a little tutorial at the end, not a tutorial, but I'm gonna. Well, there you go. I'm gonna read you some possible tricks, quote unquote, and we'll see.
Maybe for Patreon, I'll make a video of me attempting all these tricks.
That'll be the TikTok video that you owe for Andrea.
Oh, and also maybe show up in the video that we're recording right now for this episode. It's very possible. So this will basically be a compilation of like chunks of articles that I put together, peppered with my own glowing commentary. This was all I could muster the strength to do for this episode. And no, I will not apologize. Here we go. From StokeRideShop.com, just kill me now. Quote, in the early 1990s, two skateboarders from California had the idea to create miniature replicas of professional skateboards. They started a company called Extreme Skateboards, with an X, and began selling their products in toy stores. The company didn't last long, but the idea of miniaturized skateboards caught on. In 1997, another California-based company called World Industries launched a line of miniature skateboards called Tech Decks.
So cool. Trademark.
It's already been trademarked.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to trademark.
I thought you were trying to trademark.
I'm not a psychopathic narcissist.
Ma'am.
Trademark.
Bug facts.
Hashtag bug facts. Tech decks quickly became popular with kids and adults alike, and today they are one of the most popular toys in the world.
Seriously?
Still. Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks to their small size and portability, tech decks are perfect for taking anywhere and everywhere. So whether you're at home, at the park, or on the go, you can always enjoy a game of fingerboarding.
If you're at the park, get a skateboard.
Yep.
Sometimes you can't. Maybe your foot is in a cast.
Maybe.
Stoke Ride Shop goes on to ask an incredibly important.
Maybe you have a club foot.
There's a lot of reasons why you might not be able to have a skateboard. That doesn't mean get a fingerboard, though. It's not what it means. Stoke Ride Shop goes on to ask an incredibly important question. Is finger skateboarding a sport?
No.
Quote, most people would say that finger skateboarding is not a sport. This is because it does not involve physical exertion or competition, which is actually not true. However,
try to tech deck with carpal tunnel at 35.
You fucking try to tech deck. You fucking try.
It's only a sport when your chronic pain sets in.
I did have a tech deck in the 90s for my Barbies.
Yeah.
And I'd put a Barbie on one.
I
did do.
Mm-hmm. And the top of it is like a soft nail file.
Well, yeah, it's like emery board, like an actual skateboard.
But like just the grip tape. That's what it. That's what a top of a skateboard is.
I have to Google who Mark Johnson is.
It's
that I've had at the bottom of my tech deck since 7th grade.
However, some people argue that finger skateboarding can be considered a sport because it requires skill and technique. Like other sports, finger skateboarding can be enjoyed recreationally or competitively. Whether or not finger skateboarding is considered a sport is ultimately up to the individual. So no, it's not a fucking sport.
It's the dumbest fucking thing.
And yes, I still have PTSD flashbacks of boys in middle school tech decking on their desks in the middle of English class, and I can't fucking hear what's going on. And Mrs. Lee is then getting upset with them because they're being really distracting, and I already have ADHD, and they're further inhibiting my ability to learn.
Yep. Oh, okay. I definitely played tech deck with like Matt Lowe in like 7th grade science class.
You mean Blatt Blow?
Sorry, Blatt. Pretty sure. And we would also give each other like dead arms or whatever. Like, you know, you just like hit each other until you can't take it anymore.
Jesus
Honey,
Christ.
I hated science.
You were bullied.
No, we would do it to each other. You'd hit each other as hard as you possibly could.
Who are you?
I don't know. I hated science class. I hated it. And I had to do shit to keep myself, to get that serotonin up.
You just
baby.
became a middle school boy before our very eyes.
In one class a day. And in every other class, I was a nerd.
But so was Blatt Blow.
Yeah, I don't know. I distracted him enough. I don't know. That's my memory of it.
So what is a tech deck? Luckily, Wikipedia has a breakdown of the entire structure of this mini skateboard.
It's an emery board with wheels.
And Kenyon can follow along on her living diagram for the camera. Okay. Similar to a skateboard, a fingerboard consists of several components. The deck. Fingerboard decks are made out of plastic or wood. The shapes vary from popsicle decks, cruiser decks, and old school decks. Modern and or high quality decks have a defined nose and tail, just like a real skateboard.
Correct.
Over the years, decks got wider. For example, old Berlin wood decks were 29 millimeters wide, while today, decks range from 32 to 34 millimeters.
I feel like mine is quite narrow and classic, and it definitely has both lips on either end.
Sure does. Trucks. Trucks are mostly mass-produced from metal for the toy industry. In recent years, however, there have also been manufacturers who produce special trucks specifically for the sport of fingerboarding.
It's not a sport.
And thereby set significantly higher standards and prices for quality in lower quantities.
I want it to be known that I at no point purchased this tech deck. I
stole it
somehow
from Blatt
acquired
Blow.
it. Probably
stole it.
acquired it from Blatt Blow.
Oh my God.
Wheels. The wheels are made of CNC, urethane, or resin. Widely spread is polyurethane. Higher quality wheels are also equipped with bearings and made of urethane.
Definitely has bearings. Mine has great handling.
They are either cast, 3D printed, or machined on a lathe or other industrial equivalent. Mm-hmm. Bearings. The bearings used in fingerboard wheels are also the same as skateboard wheel bearings. They are made of high-quality steel to make the wheels spin smoothly, the same as skateboards.
It is very high quality.
Tape. Tape! You're doing this wrong.
Tape! What are you talking about? Tape.
You don't know your tech deck?
Oh, I'm sorry. What is the tape?
Wow.
The top?
For better adhesion, a grip tape is glued to the deck, which consists of either rubber, neoprene, fine grain, similar to sandpaper, or foam skateboard grip. So
fine
your emery
grain
board.
sandpaper. It's so satisfying. I love it.
Screws.
Yep.
Are the screws that attach the trucks to the deck. Nuts. The nuts ensure that the wheels stay on the trucks. Widely spread are lock nuts that do not loosen easily.
So not lug nuts, which
lock nuts
can be forgotten on your tires of your car and you almost die.
When can I leave?
You can't. If I have to be here, so do you. And finally, bushings. Fingerboard trucks have 2 bushings.
Where am I pointing?
I don't know. That usually smooths out riding the board. Cheap plastic boards sometimes only have hard plastic bushings, which can break easily and make it harder to do certain tricks on the fingerboard. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Mine's lasted a long time.
Okay.
And you use it every day.
I do.
Yep. So this thing became an outlet for kids who loved skateboarding but were either terrible at it or not allowed to participate in the actual sport or had other significant barriers to the sport, which include financial barriers like skateboarding.
Broken feet, too.
Well, broken feet. Ich habe eine Klappfuß. I don't actually have a club foot, but it's the only thing I know how to say in German. But skateboarding, the actual sport of skateboarding, if you want like decent stuff, is very expensive. And then you need protective gear. So you don't need a helmet and knee pads to put 2 fingers on a piece of plastic with wheels. But folks got really fucking into it, creating
little knuckle pads.
Some people do that. I'm not kidding. Tiny pairs of jeans. This industry is fucking ludicrous.
I'm Googling it.
It's absurd. I have some photos on the drive of like someone in little finger skate shoes. On a skateboard
for knuckle skating. Let's go.
Oh my God, there they are.
Get some finger jankos.
Finger jinkos.
Yup. People would create complex finger tricks and finger skate parks out of household items, releasing videos that by 90s standards like went viral before viral was a household term.
I know what my next hyperfocus is. Sorry, Duolingo.
Great. Enjoy it. From theoutline.com, quote, "It would have been fair to assume that no real deal fingerboarders actually existed back in 99. But looking back, it seems there was a genuine scene taking off right from the start. Within months of tech decks landing on store shelves, the popular skate video series 411 Video Magazine put together called Fingers of Fury, which was
I'm surprised they got that name.
Well, in the 90s when YouTube was like barely a thing. This was a 15-minute highlight video of clips of finger skaters from Canada and France who somehow managed to master a number of like insanely complex fingerboard tricks using their own collections of ledges, rails, duct taped quarter pipes, etc.
Someone literally like
built a skate park.
Yes.
Out of household items.
Yep.
And did videos.
There's like mini steps and like a mini railing and mini landscaping.
It's like a 200-to-1 scale.
Yup.
Skate park.
Oh my God.
You guys, Kenyon, you thought you were a tech deck person? You have
they're like
idea,
mini
baby.
picnic tables to do tricks off of.
Can we call Kenyon a deckhead?
You're a deckhead
I'm
now.
Your total
You're bad.
deckhead.
Nowadays on YouTube, Instagram, and Reddit, fingerboarders from around the globe post videos of themselves performing imaginative tricks. And if Kenyon, you don't go down this path, I'm going to be deeply
I'm in.
disappointed.
I mean, I don't really have the coordination. It's going to take a lot of work.
I want your entire online presence to just be your home videos of you tech decking.
Absolutely.
And getting different outfits and learning different tricks.
Outfits for your fingers.
For your fingers.
I might have to redo my board. My dick.
Yeah, you might have to. That's a little
get some nail polish. Yeah.
You got to put like Dolly Parton on there or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in it now.
In Houston, one guy's rolling around in finger jeans and finger sneakers to the sound of Virginia hip-hop duo Clips. In Matosinhos, Portugal, another guy pops a perfect kickflip to feeble grind on a metal rail in an outdoor finger skate park, which I guess is just a table at a park with stuff on it. I don't fucking know. She dropped her tech deck. She dropped her tech
Foul.
deck.
What an am.
Wow, what an am. You've been tech decking for 30 years.
I'm not even a
you're still an
goof
am.
or whatever.
You're a goofy foot.
The best finger skaters show off their skills, but also their style, shredding to soundtracks of indie music and underground hip hop, just like in the classic skate videos from the 1990s.
You know who I bet was really into tech decks?
Who?
Kendall Roy.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I could see that. 1,000%.
Yeah.
In Dracut, Massachusetts, the influential manufacturer and distributor Flat Face Fingerboards has a public fingerboard park and hosts what it claims to be, quote, the biggest fingerboard event in the USA.
Prove it.
Yep. So despite how much I fucking hate it, fingerboarding has blossomed into its own steadfast subculture. And even fucking professional fingerboarding exists.
What would
because
you honestly do if I left the podcast to become a professional fingerboarder?
I'd let you go. Bye. It's been fun.
Okay, bye.
We'd hire Scott in your place and pray that you had the best time.
Shit.
Good. Best of luck.
Bye.
Bye.
R.I.P.
Because if that's your course of action, so much more has gone wrong that it is not safe to keep you in the company.
You're a
Let's
liability.
be honest. You're a liability. So this gentleman, Nash Keanu Jacques, a name that could only be associated with fingerboarding,
Nash
launched his own company in 2014, appropriately named Sorry for Fingerboarding.
He made fingerboards?
I can't. Yes, he started a company called Sorry for Fingerboarding that was dedicated to fingerboarding.
The worst part is the name.
I love it.
Fingerboards?
Yeah.
What else are you going to call it?
I don't know. Teching?
No.
Tech decking?
No, that's a
proprietary.
company. That's like saying Kleenex instead of tissue.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't it.
A lot of people say Kleenex.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do.
To be fair,
though. Quote, since the company's inception, Jacques and his team have hosted events throughout the West Coast to bring the fingerboarding community together, regularly hosting sessions at First Fridays and Bixby Knolls. Events consist of boarding sessions with an option to compete with other fingerboarders. Aside from the Street League format, which consists of a qualifier, semifinal, quarterfinal, and a final, competitors are usually offered cash for their tricks in $5 increments.
Okay. All right. I might not quit my day job.
Yeah. Those who land impressive tricks can go home with up to $100, according to Jacques.
Wow.
Today, he is backed by German sponsor Black River and competes in faraway places like Berlin and Portugal. Fingerboarding.
Oh my God. For $100 a pop, max.
I mean, I have to imagine
Maybe
there are
they pay
other
for
perks.
His trip? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know what he's up to. This is just the one that he does. He hosts this specific one that's in $5 increments.
Got it.
There's more money to be made, I think, in other competitions.
Is there?
I mean, we'll get to it, yes.
Oh, no.
In 2019, the Sorry team filmed a fingerboarding video at the Barracks, the Holy Grail private indoor skate park in LA. Can you imagine going to the Holy Grail private indoor skate park in LA to skateboard and some fucking asshole is making...
Rented it out
to make fingerboard videos?
Private event.
Can't.
Closed for private event.
Closed for a private event.
Closed for a very important film. It's just Kenyan with two fingers.
Your two fingers, your pointer and your middle finger, are just insured.
Yep. Oh, they're so
Really
valuable.
You wear gloves. It's like George Costanza when he does hand modeling. Yeah.
It's like
he moisturize.
In what's that? God damn it. The fucking Ben Stiller movie.
Yeah.
Zoolander. Where what's his face from X-Files has his hand in like the hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah.
For tech decking, for fingerboarding.
But it's just your two fingers.
I couldn't think of Zoolander. It's just two fingers.
We're just really old. Like right here. I can't think of anything anymore.
Both.
I'm high and old.
Still one of Shakez's favorite moments. Favorite moments as a professional fingerboarder was earning the top spot in May of 2021. So roll recently.
Jesus Christ.
At the U.S. National Championship.
It's all coming back to me.
It's like muscle memory. Hosted by USA Skateboarding, the governing body for skateboarding in the nation. The fingerboard industry is a capitalist hellscape with boards and custom sets to skate on, racking up costs in the hundreds of dollars.
How much does a regular tech deck go for these days?
I'm not sure. Again from theoutline.com, quote, sitting at my computer, my pulse quickened at the thought of putting in an order for a proper custom fingerboard setup.
Oh, wow.
Tell me the prices.
These are impressive.
Tell me. Okay, so you're going to rag on me for my $300 clogs. Tell me how much your tech deck bullshit costs.
All right.
You tell me.
Let's see. Oh, this one's cute. All right. This skate park features.
Say it. Price. MSRP.
Literally doesn't even list a price, which means
That's
you know you can't afford it.
It means you can't afford it. Market price.
I'm Googling.
Okay, never mind. This is like $17, but I'll find.
Still
doesn't even list a
price, which means you can't afford it. Okay, he goes on to say, I shopped around and settled on some black and gold BRTs, a green Philippines-inspired tribal mask deck from Collier Decks, and chalky white oak wheels. Since I needed something to do tricks on, I also picked out a Black River pocket kicker ramp. The grand total came to $169.50.
Wow, for a custom setup.
When I finally got my packages in the mail on a blazing summer day in August, the little black box holding my BRTs made clear what I was getting myself into. This is not a toy, read a warning label on the front.
Oh, I found a custom whatever fingerboard for $138.
Oh my God.
Wow. This is bad. Why did I find this? Why did you reignite this in me?
I hate it.
Oh, no.
It's horrible.
I'm drawn to the board.
You're drawn to the board. Drawn to the hogs. So finger skateboards are not the only items like this on the market either. There's an entire line of finger snowboards, handboards, and surfboards as well if skating isn't your thing. Again, from Wikipedia, and this reads like a Mad Lib, so stay with me. Quote, similar to fingerboarding, finger snowboarding is snowboarding on a small-scale snowboard controlled with one's fingers. In December 1999, the first ever World Snowboard Finger Championships was held with a cash prize of $1,000.
Instead of X Games, it's like Y Games.
Finger games.
I am
WHY Games.
Sending a picture to the chat, to the Clogs chat.
Sponsored by companies such as Gravity Fingerboards, Transworld Snowboarding, and Snowboard Life magazines, and others, the competition featured 20 competitors utilizing a custom fingerboard snowboard park.
Oh, God.
Tom Sims, a world champion of snowboarding, ended his run, of finger snowboarding, ended his run by landing his finger snowboard into a flaming shot glass of Sambuca. He was treated for minor burns and donated his winnings prize to Surfrider Foundation's Snow Rider Project and to Board Aid.
His $80 winnings.
His $1,000 winnings.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which probably eaten up by that ER visit.
Very expensive looking fingerboard travel case.
And like
the
case. $189 fingerboard travel case.
For just the case?
I think so.
Oh, God.
And it doesn't include all of those. I think that's for that whole kit.
Oh, well, still.
There's a tiny little secondary case for all of your bushings and whatever.
When you need to take your even smaller, your sleeker size carrying case.
The zipper is as
when this
long
one's too
as
bulky,
the case.
The carabiner. I can't.
Most expensive fingerboard.
Great. And like any popular trend, there is controversy. From skateboarding.com, quote, should this burgeoning market be considered part of the skateboard industry, or does it service an entirely different market? Is a toy skateboard a toy or a skateboard, or is it both? Does it matter? Well, it does matter to some. Quote, we need to embrace the possibilities of spreading the gospel of skateboarding, says Todd Swank, who had licensed many of his Tumyito brand graphics for X Concepts tech decks. Swank sees the mini skateboards as a marketing tool to help excite young kids about skateboarding, not just a mere accessory. The idea is that a small kid would see this little skateboard and they are cool, like little things, and they'd see our graphics and be inspired to go get our skateboards, he says. It's the brands we're trying to get out there. But others disagree. Al Hillenbrand of Phase 2 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, doesn't believe there is a relationship between fingerboard sales and skateboard sales. Quote, I can't see a kid deciding to skateboard because of the toy. Maybe 1 out of 10, but I don't think even that many. With that age group, the World Industries and Blind Graphics have the demographic already. But for skateboards, our best-selling skateboards are Element and Black Label. Not everyone agrees. It's a good idea to market skateboarding to the mainstream.
It's not like the kids are unaware of skateboarding if they find a tech deck, a fingerboard.
They're fully unaware. They've never seen it.
I'd have to see the analytics.
Keith Cochran of Think Skateboards makes the Super Mini board, which is nearly identical in quality and design to tech decks, but sports a blurb in the upper corner of the packaging declaring available only through authorized skateboard dealers.
Yeah.
Cochran's idea is to market to skateboarders and not to the typical little kid that he says will never understand skateboarding. Quote, we've all built our businesses on hardcore skate shops. It's never been about the mall store or the sporting goods store.
Or
it's
stealing it from Black Blow in 7th grade science class.
Exactly. It's been with the hardcore shops that got us here, and now we're going to turn around and stab them in the back?
People get so upset.
I cannot believe how stupid this is. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. I'll close out with an in-depth tutorial of some common fingerboard tricks so that you too could make $1,000 doing something dumb.
All right, Kenyon, this is your moment.
I'm going to practice.
Your moment to shine. We're going to start with the ollie, the most basic trick in fingerboarding.
Which I've
and
almost
it can be done
mastered.
To do an ollie, place your front finger on the center of the board and your back finger just behind the trucks. Bend your knuckles, your knuckle knees, and pull straight up, like with some oomph, using your back finger to push the board off the ground. As you jump, snap your wrist to make the deck pop in the air. When it reaches its peak, I bet you did, level out your fingers and land.
Here, I'm using this matchbook.
I did it.
I did it too.
Next up is the pop shove it. This trick is similar to an ollie, but instead of snapping your wrists when you jump, you will use them to flick the deck sideways as it leaves the ground. This will cause the deck to spin in midair before you land back on it.
Oh yeah, that's the only one that I ever knew how to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Got it. The kick flip. To do a kick flick, start in the same stance you would for an ollie. When you jump, use your back finger to kick the front of the deck, flipping it up and over as it comes around, level out your fingers and land. I don't even fucking know. And then there's the 540 shove it and the 900 shove it.
Those sound like lots of spins.
Exactly. So the 540, it's the same. You start in an ollie. When you jump, you use your wrist to flick the deck 540 degrees around.
That's hard.
And in the 900, you do 900 degrees. And that's it for me. I'm going to go drink bleach.
That's it for
Bye.
all of us.
I'm going to go buy this Santa Cruz Skateboard Winkowski Dope Planet VX Independent Trucks Slime Balls Wheels for $154.95 on sale from $169.95.
Clogs might be a better investment. Thank you to Kayla and Andy. I think we'll see you next week.
All right.
Baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.